Namaste, and welcome again to Yoga with Laura Ashland. Please hit the subscribe button down below and share this with your friends. The beauty of YouTube is that you can go back and visit the other videos, pick up a little bit of information and practice from those videos, and carry on with others, and you can go back and forth. There's not really a level, starting out beginner, going to more advanced. It's going to be many different positions, postures, balances, strength, flexibilities. So please visit them all. I am getting close to now 50 videos. I try to do about 3 to 4 videos a week for you. I enjoy doing it. It's for my wonderful yoga family in Florida because I have moved away. It started as a homegrown project to stay in touch with them. And we're getting a few more people on board as well. So most important that you continue your practice at your pace, in your time. And it's always welcome to come to the mat rather than a forced, I must get to the mat, I have this amount of time. We have anywhere from 9-10 minutes up to 60 minutes. And they're all a variety, so according to your time and availability, please check out the multitude of videos from myself to you. Welcome. I have named these certain short demos as Yoga for the hips, yoga for wrists, yoga for the glutes, yoga for shoulders, and so on. They're not necessarily yoga postures. Some might be yoga warm-ups, some might be yoga postures, but they're not all yoga positions. Just to work individual parts of the body and learning where they belong and when they don't belong in certain parts of the postures. So today, the Yoga 4 little mini demo series is going to be for the shoulders. If you look back into the other series, I have an anatomy version, the bone version, especially of how the shoulder girdle actually works. So I'm going to turn sideways and not have my back to you. And you can follow along and just do these movements and learn a little bit about the shoulder. So as I send my arm forward, I am protracting the shoulder head. It's coming a little bit out of its socket. It's not in neutral base. It's not behind. As I lower the arm, the shoulder comes into neutral. The humeral head, your humerus bone, the humeral head, sits in a very shallow socket sideways. So we want to make sure that humeral head is tucked in nice and tight, and we don't have any slippage one way or the other and have dislocated shoulder due to the fact that this socket that sits there is very shallow, as opposed to the hip socket is very deep and all kinds of movement into the hip socket. Shoulder is very shallow, almost like a saucer, a teacup. So being very careful with short tendons and ligaments all around the shoulder girdle. We want to make sure that we don't pull a tendon or a ligament because they are so short. So when we work with shoulders, work really slowly so that they can still stretch, but they stretch in good time to open and get a little bit longer so you have even more mobility in the shoulder. But the shoulder needs strength. It needs the muscle tone around it also. So we don't want to reach and jar so quickly because that's when we get some kind of a pull or a tear in our shoulder. We're trying too hard, we're doing too much too fast, and the anatomy of the shoulder can't quite keep up with that. So here comes a shoulder that is retracted to the back. Now the shoulder head system, socket ball, a chromium shield at the top, is very different from the scapular blade at the back, but still to allow you freedom of movement in the scapular plate. So shoulder protracts, retracts. Shoulder blades retract, come together in the back. You can almost feel folding of flesh. And then shoulder blades depress downward, and hence the shoulder head too comes downward in a depression. Protraction, retraction, depression, and neutral. So when we're raising the arm into the air, you can certainly come straight out from protraction and bring the arm up, but you might feel a little bit of impingement of that humeral head right here as it kind of tucks into the socket. And we'll lower it back down. I very often like to take it thumb to the shoulder head straight up. Quieter humeral head right into that glenoid socket. Very little movement of the shoulder head. My finger is right on top of that head. So it's kind of quiet. And I've taken it all the way to 0 degree and back down. If I swing the long bones of the arm like a lever and I swing it up, that's a lot of action. That's a 90-degree action on the humeral head, all the way up. But if I just tuck it and go up, less action, less impingement on that upper arm bone head and back. Now as I take my hand out to the side and I turn the thumb down, palm goes to the back, I am internally rotating that femoral head, rotating in that shallow socket. And if I turn the thumb up to the ceiling and then back down, the shoulder head externally rotates. It changes the muscle structure all around. We have rhomboid, deltoid. We've got part of the trap. You have pec major, pec minor. A lot going on. Even a little bit of the upper rib. Much less bicep, tricep, the gracilis of the low forearm. All of these muscles are working, just turning the thumb down, internally rotating the shoulder. Turning the thumb up and a little back, if you have that range, externally rotating the shoulder. Now rather than take that whole lever and take it down, it's a lot of weight, I'm going to go ahead and draw in the low limb, lower the elbow, and let some of that action and energy be in my elbow rather than shoulder head. Very nice. So again, they do want to lift and be up. We like to have the shoulders down but neutral, not forward, rounded. This is how we live, right? Most of us, technology, sitting, eating, driving, reading, watching, anything, we tend to sink here, which tightens the pecs. So we want those shoulders to be neutral, right under the earlobe, approximately. Not too far back. Too much tension in the upper back comes right up into the neck. Too much stretch across the top, but there's a neutral. You can feel it just sit on top of itself as you find neutral shoulder, resting arms, floating elbow, but the shoulders are quiet. Now we'll come to all fours. And let me show you from this direction, if I may. The crease of the elbow and the point of the elbow can turn out, turn in. So look at your arm and find out, oh, my arm doesn't go all the way out like that. My arm doesn't turn all the way in, or maybe it turns even more in. So look at your range of your elbow. What we really want to do is make sure that the two small bones of the arm line up with the crease of the wrist. If I turn it, I've got a twist in those two bones. Even though that's comfortable for me to have my seam facing forward, elbow point to the back, that's not really very good on the wrists. So pay in mind to turn so that both bones come down relatively squarely in line. Another little option there as well, because when you turn the low forearm and upper arm, the humeral head still does a slight turn in the socket. Turning in, turning out, using most of the pull of the arm, but not a lot of hand movement. They've been stopped by the mat. When we come down to a half cobra, full cobra, a part of up dog. Up dog is really the knees lift off the ground. Chaturanga. And we do tend to come down. A couple of not to do's and then a couple of possibly tries. So we are avoiding the elbows to come out. That takes that shoulder head, the humeral head of my arm, and it jams it right into the socket. Doesn't have a lot of range, a little weaker here, not as protective for the humeral head. If I turn in the arms, press them back and lean on the shelf of the upper arm, the tricep, to lower, I have taken the humeral head and turned it in so that it has the possibility, all possibilities, of going out. And that humeral head will come right out of the socket. So I don't want to be too bowy, humeral head in. I don't want to be too turned in, elbows come in, and you press and you use the shelf, humeral head goes out. I just want to be right in the middle. So maybe a little bit of a bow energy-wise, there's a bowing out, see that, versus in and collapsing. A little bowing out, keeping the humeral head right in line with the socket for safety, so that as I lower, we're safe. Now this could be touch and go, this could be coming into the full cobra, half cobra, up dog, and so on. So keeping nice shoulders, not out, not in for the shelf, right in the middle. One last item for shoulder is 0 degrees, 90 degrees. So pretty much from 80 degree to 30 degrees, not 0, not 10, not 20, not 30, but from 30 to 80 is a very precarious part for the shoulder head. Also, when you're lifting, the arms, palms are up, that sets that shoulder head a little bit to the back, humeral head, a little bit to the back, gives it a little bit more space for rising. But this is what they call the red cone of danger. If we took a point and went out to 80 and 30 and then arced it, because it's 360-degree circle, that is a very dangerous area for the shoulder. If I want to go straight up to 0 degrees, I'm going to stay straight close to the body and back down. Take my body over to that thing I need to get up off the shelf and reach it straight up. Even exercising straight here. Straight out is fine. But there's this range, 80 degrees to 30 degrees. So be real careful with that. That's when certainly when the palm is down, look at the impingement, 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 impingement here. Most people, this is quite difficult to do. I am hyperflexive. I used to backstroke and swim, so my shoulder girdle soft tissue is used to that stretch. But just because I can do it doesn't mean I want to continue to do it, because over the years I'll be wearing down and impinge, create inflammation in the tendons and so on. Even with palm up, be very careful. So lately, over the last 5 years of my practice, I've been keeping my arms close to me, balance in the arm movement for cobra, up dog, and keeping my shoulders as safe as possible. So that was shoulders today, just kind of how they work, broadening the back, broadening the scapular plate, rather than always sinking the scapular plate in. Sometimes it's good, the spine likes to have the scapular plate come together in the back. It feels it has support, but the strongest shape for your scapular plates in the back is kind of open broad, not too collapsing, not too out to the side, even though all that stretching feels good. Keep nice and center with your shoulder blade, hugging the home of the humeral head and the glenoid socket, and taking care of shoulders. Namaste. Thank you.